You are listening to KLRN Radio, where liberty and reason still reign.
Hi, I'm Jay Farner, CEO of Quicken Loans, America's largest mortgage lender. Spring will be here soon, so if buying a new home is on your to-do list, right now is the time to call Quicken Loans. Learn about which mortgage options make sense for you and get a jump on your competition. With our exclusive Rate Shield approval, the low rate you lock today is protected for up to 90 days while you shop for your new home. With a Rate Shield approval, if rates go up, your low rate stays locked. But if rates go down, you get that new, even lower rate. Either way, you win. Talk to us today at 800-QUICKEN or go to rocketmortgage.com to take advantage. Here's another great reason to work with us. For a record 9 years in a row, J.D. Power has ranked Quicken Loans highest in the nation in customer satisfaction for primary mortgage origination. Again, to lock in today's low mortgage interest rate and get the security of our exclusive Rate Shield approval, call us today at 800-QUICKEN or go to rocketmortgage.com.
For J.D. Power award information, visit jdpower.com. Rate Shield approval only valid on certain 30-year fixed-rate loans. Call for cost information and conditions. Equal housing lender. License in all 50 states. NMLS number 3030.
Hi, welcome to this Subway ad for the new Sesame Ginger Glazed Chicken Signature Wrap. How would you like it?
I'll take a...
Sports announcer at home?
Yeah, how'd you...
We just know.
My wife picks up the new Signature Wrap. It's got double the rotisserie-style chicken mixed with a sesame ginger glaze. She appears annoyed at me, but she shrugs it off. Those sweet and savory flavors are calling her name. She lifts the wrap and she takes the bite! Incredible! And now she's closing the door on my... Subway, make it what you want.
Limited time only at participating restaurants. Double meat basement, average 6-inch sub.
I'm little teapot, short and stout.
Here is my handle and here is my spout.
No, Dad, like this. When I get all steamed up, then I shout, tip me over and pour me out.
This is WWE superstar Roman Reigns. It only takes a moment to make a moment. Take time to be a dad today.
Visit fatherhood.gov, brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
KLRN Radio has advertising rates available. We have rates to fit almost any budget. Contact us at advertising@klrnradio.com.
It's the refreshingly non-political podcast about everything else.
I'm Alan Ray, and I do this for free. Welcome. Happy 2021, everybody. I am your humble host, Alan Ray. This is the refreshingly non-political podcast about everything else. Let's talk for a minute before we really get into the meat of everything. I went through a period where I wasn't sure I wanted to keep this show going. The numbers are not what I thought they would be. The content is a killer to try to... you think I'm lying? Go into your news feeds and your computers and watch the TV or whatever. Try to find content that has absolutely nothing to do with politics and nothing to do with the insanity going around you. It's not easy. But then I made up my mind at the beginning of the year, you know what? No. this has now become a challenge. It has become my goal to enrich anyone listening to this. Enrich your lives a little bit more. Help you along your way. People, we have a crisis going on in this nation, in this world, not even in this nation. We are smack dab in the middle of a mental pandemic. Yes, I know many of you are locked down. Many of you have been idle for a year, coming up on a year now when all of this crap started. Many of you are feeling isolated, lonely, overwhelmed, stressed. And I think I'm making it my goal for 2021. And we're going to talk about goals in a little bit, to bring you content, a little bit of levity, bring you things you can actually use in life, bring you totally nonsensical things, but that will still help you along your way, let you know things are going on out there, outside your door, that really aren't that bad. Let's get into this show. I'm getting excited again. Now, I mentioned a mental pandemic going on. Now, this has been going on for several years now, but the events of the past year have magnified it. It's just pushed it way over the top. You cannot, and I repeat myself, you cannot lock down major portions of society, whether it be in this nation, other nations, anywhere on the planet. You cannot clamp down on major portions of society and not expect psychological ramifications for your actions. And to deny that these psychological issues are manifesting at an alarming rate is to admit your own ignorance. There, I said it. It's not a political statement. I don't care who you are. I don't care what your background is. Stop. Look and listen. Look at the things going on around you. And I'm not even going to mention what has happened this week. Perfect evidence. What has happened all summer. Perfect evidence. People are meant to be free. It is our basic instinct. It is our survival deep, deep within us. We were created to be a free people. And to be sat upon like this is against every fiber of our being. Now, that being said, this little nugget of information explains why some of you have had major psychological problems for a big portion of your life, because you have clamped down on yourselves. You have allowed things to make you idle. They talk about sedentary lifestyles all the time. This is what I'm talking about. The pandemic is just a major episode that has kind of proven my point. So I've decided that I want to actually take this show in a direction that, and yes, I'm still going to bring you a lot of silly stuff. I'm still going to bring you interesting and funny articles, but a lot of the underlying goals of this show is going to be to pull you eventually out of your slumber, pull you out of your self-imposed prison, get you back on your feet, and get you back into the realm of being living human breathing human beings, social animals, people who go to things like township meetings, church, clubs, events. You know what? I'm preaching to the choir here. I'm stepping on my own toes. I stand accused. If I'm given A or B, A being going to a party or a meeting or event, or B, locking myself in the studio and creating music or bringing you a podcast, chances are I'm going to choose B. I'm not that social of an animal. Now, that being said, I do work. I go to church. In fact, I'm working on some stuff right now that's probably going to make me very uncomfortable, but put me out in front of public eye. And it's, I live a strange life. Just so you don't feel alone in this. I'm an introvert for all practical purposes, not completely, but I lean toward the introvert side. I can only be around people for so long before I need to go home in total silence and recoup. But that being said, I feel perfectly at home and comfortable in front of a crowd speaking or playing music or doing whatever, as long as I have knowledge about what I'm doing. I feel perfectly comfortable in front of a crowd. You put me in a room full of 10 strangers and expect me to make friends right away from them? Oh boy, I struggle. That increases my anxiety. Now, I'll eventually do it, but I would rather not. Now, I talk a lot about this show, and this is one of the things that I'm going to dive deeper into is psychology. The link between your mental fitness and your physical fitness. And I want to go into that a little bit right now. People are losing it. I'm just going to blurt it out there. People are losing it. And I said at the top of the show, you cannot lock people down like we have for an entire year and not expect them to go nuts. It's what people do. You can't do that. And I'm surprised that the powers that be, the leaders, and I'm not going to get into politics, but I'm surprised at their actions, not taking into account that they are creating a global mental health pandemic that's going to far, far exceed what the physical pandemic is doing. We're going to deal with this for generations to come. Just like World War II, the Great Depression, World War I, all of these wars and these national events, they create a global psychology. They create a psychological pandemic that a lot of people are reluctant to admit, but it happens. If you know somebody 89, 90 years old, 91 years old, who was in World War II, and you talk to them, even if they weren't actually physically in the war, a lot of their memories from their youth stem from how hard it was, the rough times, or better yet, if you know somebody that survived the Great Depression or the Dust Bowl. That's been a while. It left a scar, a big, giant, deep scar on their mental fitness. Now, that being said, I want you to make a promise that you're going to wake yourself up from the slumber that you are probably in right now and start listening to what I'm saying. Start exploring on your own. There's plenty of great, easy to understand resources that confirm what I'm telling you. Learn how to get yourself more mentally fit. I'm going to give you a few things right up front. More reading books and less screen time. Now, I stand accused of this. I love my smartphone. I'm not as attached to a computer as I used to be. I don't watch television, but I've done psychological studies. I mean, my degree was heavy in psychology. I've done studies. Television is horribly damaging to your brain. Now, you're not going to get large backing saying that this is true and that everybody needs to turn their TV off and that everybody needs to stop watching so much television, because it's a giant moneymaker and it's also a giant influencer. Think about it. Especially to my generation who grew up on network television. You'll watch a little bit of a show followed by a crap ton of commercials. Influence, influence, influence. Public service announcements, influence, influence, influence. Shaping your brain, possibly in ways you don't want it to be shaped. And a lot of times, for a lot of people, better mental fitness is just a remote click away. Off it goes. Oh, look, a third of my stress just disappeared. That being said, I think I'm going to make it a point starting, and I've been thinking about it, and I've been, one of my goals this year is less screen time, a lot less screen time. It's going to be a challenge getting content for my shows and things like that, but that's a little bit different. I have news feeds that I can go into, surf into, whatever piques my interest, I throw it into my Pocket app, and then I can either listen to the articles on Pocket or I can read them at my own leisure. But more reading books, less screen time. You want to get rid of a lot of anxiety? That's number one. Now, I want to talk to you a little bit also about, it's the beginning of the year. We just went through New Year's. The first 7 days were pretty interesting in 2021. If this is any indication how the rest of the year is going, it's not going to be a lot different from 2020. But think of a few things through with me. Don't do New Year's resolutions. New Year's resolutions are made to be broken. Everybody starts out January 1st going, I'm going to get in shape. I'm going to diet. I'm going to eat right. I'm going to lose pounds. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. Forget about it. Just take that list you made, chuck it out the window. Replace it with goals. Now, you can think to yourself that, okay, this is the end. This is what I want to look like at the end of the year. And that's a bit of a resolution, yeah. But if you're going to do that resolution, break that down into mini goals. Several small, obtainable goals that reach a larger goal. You want to lose 50 pounds? Great. Great. God bless you. I am totally backing you. But you sit there and go, in 2021, I want to lose 50 pounds. That is setting yourself up to short circuit your entire plan. Start out with, by the end of January, I want to be down 3 pounds. By the end of February, I want to be down 3 more pounds. Well, that's 6 pounds right there. By the end of March, I want to be down 3 more pounds. That's 9 pounds. That's a fifth of the way to your goal, 10 pounds maybe. Okay. Or 4 pounds, whatever, divide it. It's a lot easier to reach several small obtainable goals that lead to a larger one. And of course, I use weighted as an example, but it goes a lot further than that. More reading, more writing. Oh Lord, I need to write more. I really, really do. Now, that being said, last year, one of my goals was to learn to be a better guitar player. Out of the blue. Yesterday, I sat in the studio with my acoustic guitar, and I just played a simple loop for the song Whipping Post by the Allman Brothers. I just played a loop, hit the button, and it was playing back, going good. And I just sat there and I played solo after solo after solo after solo. And about 5 minutes into it, my fingers were not sore. And I'm thinking, you know what? If I doubled down on my goal, I may be able to be actually a little bit better than just an okay guitar player by the end of 2021. One of my goals. You don't just sit there and poof, you're automatically a great guitar player. You don't just sit there and automatically poof, you've lost 50 pounds. It takes work. It takes dedication. And it also takes okay, I want to learn how to play this many songs. Break it down into small goals. I want to learn how to play solos in this key. I want to learn how to, you break things down into simple goals. That's my point. It's a lot easier to break them down into goals and reach those. You want to start losing weight? Take 200 calories off your diet. Write down everything you eat for a week. Figure it out, total it, There's all of these programs that you can get online. You can buy a cheap fitness watch. Your smartphone probably already has, especially if you have a Samsung, you have a very, very extensive fitness app in your phone that you can write down all of this stuff. You can just copy, you can scan things, Q codes on packages and stuff, and track your calories. You do that for a week and go, oh, wow, look at all the stuff I'm doing and I'm overeating. Cut it down by 200 calories. You won't be as hungry. You'll hardly even feel it. But you'll notice you'll start dropping a little bit, or at least you'll start leveling out. After a couple of weeks, drop down a few hundred more calories. See, if you just drop, you say, oh, you're only supposed to eat 2,000 calories a day, and I eat 4,000, and all of a sudden I just stop eating 4,000, and I'm down to 2,000, I'm going to be miserable. My body is going to go into shock. It's going to go, what are you doing? And then next thing you know, you're in a lot of pain, you're uncomfortable, and you give up. You're right back to square one. Erode what you're doing. So there you go. Goals, not resolutions. Now, that being said, some of those goals can be totally meaningless and fun. There's nothing wrong with that, as long as it's not self-harming. I mean, if you wake up, in January 1st and said, one of my goals for 2021 is to drink more bourbon. Okay, don't do that. Maybe don't increase what you're drinking, use a variety. I don't know. But yeah, don't do things like that. An example that I'm going to give you is, now this is just out of the blue. I've always, and I've said this on this show several times, I've always liked shortwave radio. I've always liked ham radio. I'm going to get my technician license this year. Now, it means nothing in the grand scheme of things, unless there's a national emergency or something like that. But hopefully by this time, at the end of the month or in February, I'm going to have my technician license in ham radio. I'm going to be able to use and talk to people who are several states or nations away using repeaters, using computer technology, a lot of the wonderful things that are out there. It's just a bucket list thing that I've always wanted to do. Why not do it? I'm 55 years old, going to be 56 years old. There's no better time than right now. Things like that. Now, that being said, make it one of your goals to get more physically fit. Make it another one of your goals to get more mentally fit. The two intertwine. I can't stress this enough. The two intertwine. They go together. When you are more physically fit, it is a lot easier to be more mentally fit. When you lead a sedentary lifestyle, your brain suffers. I just can't make that any more clear. Whether you walk, whether you march in place in your house, whether you do one of these crazy fitness, dance, video classes, whatever. I know a lot of you are locked down. Some gyms are open. Some gyms are closed. I'm okay with gyms, but I'm not a huge advocate of gyms. I understand that a lot of people go there because it's more, it's better for their encouragement. We have other people around who are working out too, and you're working out too. That's fine. But whatever you do, get more physically fit, but don't ignore your mental health. Now, I'm going to lay something on you here that a lot of people in this age don't like to hear. A lot of people in this age kind of look at you kind of strange. But seeking knowledge, obtaining wisdom, that's right out of the Old Testament. If you're Jewish, that's right out of your Bible. That's right out of your scriptures. It's right out of Proverbs. Seeking knowledge, learning wisdom. Two of the biggest things that even today, it's funny that they thousands of years old, these scripts came out thousands of years ago. And psychology is now going, hey, if you do that, your brain kind of functions better. Things go a little better for you. When you learn new things, you learn more knowledge, you learn more, learn how to obtain wisdom. your psychology is better. Your mental health gets better. I'll be darned. Go imagine. Sometimes the ancients had it right, didn't they? Make that one of your goals this year. Now, that being said, oh my gosh, we're 25 minutes into this show already. Don't be afraid to be a little quirky. Are your Christmas lights still up? Reason I ask is I ran across, and this is part of what I'm going to do this year, is just bring you some of the weirdest things, bring you some things that you probably didn't know. But according to belfasttelegraph.co.uk in the Ukraine, or in the UK, leave up Christmas decorations and keep the halls decked with boughs of holly until February to bring cheer in the dark winter months, English Heritage has said. The charity is appealing to the public to follow the traditions of their medieval ancestors and leave festive decorations up until Candlemas on February 2nd. I have never heard of Candlemas, but apparently Candlemas is a thing. Candlemas, which has the full name of the Feast of the Purification of the Blessed Virgin Mary, was the official end of Christmas in medieval England. I am on board with this whole thing. It consisted of great feasts and the blessings of candles that were to be used in churches in the coming year. And this is a quote, "The Christmas season actually continues right through to Candlemas on 2nd of February, so there's no real reason why you should take your decorations down earlier." Honey, are you listening to this? My wife wants that Christmas tree down on the 26th. She wants the decorations gone on the 26th. Now, we didn't do it until, a few days afterwards, but I tell you what, she's ready. She's ready to get into the new year. February 2nd. I'm on board with this tradition. Put the Christmas tree and all the decorations up 2 weeks before Christmas, leave them until February 2nd. One early 17th century poem by Robert Herrick, Ceremony Upon Candlemas Eve, describes green foliage, including holly and ivy, as well as mistletoe, being removed. Dr. Michael Carter, senior proprieties historian at English Heritage, said, in the Middle Ages, houses would be decorated with greenery for the Christmas season on Christmas Eve day. The Feast of Christmas started around 4 p.m. on Christmas Eve afternoon and continued until the Epiphany on 6th of January. But contrary to popular belief, the Christmas season actually continues right through to Candlemas on the 2nd of February, so there's no real reason why you should take your decorations down earlier. The tradition that it is bad luck to keep decorations up after the 12th night and the Epiphany is a modern invention, although it may derive from the medieval notion that decorations left up after Candlemas Eve would become possessed by goblins. Oh, well, yeah, so make sure you get them down by February 2nd or bad things can happen. We don't want goblins. We've got pandemics. We've got murder hornets. We've got all this other stuff. Let's keep the goblins at bay. I'm of the opinion that after the year we've all had, we certainly deserve to keep the Christmas cheer going a little longer. And it makes sense. It makes sense. Okay, February is a crap month. I've never gotten the hang of February. I mean, January, you've got a little excitement. You're going, okay, well, new year. Let's try some new things. Let's do some new things. By the time you hit February, you're like, oh, God, can we please just quit having snow? And, of course, you always have that 2 to 3 week period in February where it's like zero, when you live where I do, where it's 0 to 10 below zero, and even breathing the air outside unfiltered will kill you. So you have to wear something over your face. Ugh. So, yeah, maybe it's time to get back to the Middle Ages and start celebrating Christmas from Christmas Eve all the way to February 2nd. There you have it. Now you know something a little bit more that you did not know before you started listening to my show. We are already at the bottom of the hour. When we come back, we're going to listen to explore a lot of other things that you probably didn't know. Some of them you might know, but the best part, we're going to talk about platypuses. Yay! I'll be back.
Listen now and don't forget, if you go for that solid jive, you can always keep the dream alive. Palin with Al.
My son was in the Army back during Desert Storm, but even then he wanted an MBA. He looked at a dozen schools, but only one offered the online education and flexibility he needed while he was in a tent in Iraq, Grantham University. Turns out that Grantham's been delivering affordable, relevant college and advanced degrees for over 65 years. Heck, if they can deliver a quality education to a soldier in a tent overseas, think about the flexibility Grantham can offer you so you can earn your degree too. It doesn't matter how complicated or full your life is. If getting a degree is on your bucket list, you'll want to do what my son did. You'll want to call Grantham. Find out how easy it is to get started on your education so you can check that college degree off your bucket list. Call Grantham right now, 800-910-1370. That's 800-910-1370. Flexible, affordable, relevant. Call 800-910-1370.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news for you. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. Healthy Man allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $3 a pill? Call today and get 40 Viagra pills for only $99. This can cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us. If you want Viagra at the lowest prices, never pay $15 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than $3 a pill. Call 1-800-516-7602 today and save up to $500 and get 40 pills for just $99. Healthy Man is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting at 1-800-516-7602 to take your call right now. Call 1-800-516-7602. That's 1-800-516-7602. Again, 1-800-516-7602.
Attention business owners and independent contractors. This is a money-saving message from Tax Mediation Services. If your business owes $20,000 or more in taxes, we can help you today, right now. Listen, dealing with the IRS is no picnic. It's an intimidating and extremely stressful process, and you don't want to go it alone. Our attorneys know every law, every tax break, and every possible opportunity to help you resolve and reduce your tax debt. And if you owe more than $20,000, you may be at the top of their hit list. So don't take your tax debt lightly, because it will not go away on its own. The IRS can seize your bank accounts, your home, and even shut down your business. Call our tax experts today at 1-800-783-0810 and let us deal with the IRS while you focus on your business. That's 1-800-783-0810. Again, that's 800-783-0810.
And a phony at the mic.
Quiet, numbskulls, I'm broadcasting.
And we're back. It's Alan Ray. This is the Refreshingly Non-Political Podcast about everything else. I am your refreshingly non-political host for the evening. Well, I can't say I'm refreshingly non-political. I'm about as political as you can get, but tonight, nope, not. And I don't get paid a dime for this. I do this for free. Welcome back. Yeah, Elon Musk is now the richest person in the world, passing Jeff Bezos. Wow. Elon Musk just became the richest person in the world, according to CNBC.com, with a net worth of more than $185 billion. Jeff Bezos has reached second place. He had been the richest person since 2017 and is currently worth about $184 billion. What's a billion between friends, right? Musk's wealth surge over the past year marks the fastest rise to the top of the rich list in history and marks a dramatic financial turnaround for the famed entrepreneur who just 18 months ago was in the headlines for Tesla's rapid cash burn and his personal leverage against Tesla's stock. Musk started 2020 worth about $27 billion, and it was barely in the top 50 richest people. Tesla's rocketing share price, which has increased more than 9-fold over the past year, along with his generous pay package, have added more than $150 billion to his net worth. So, Jeff, or Elon, let me ask you this. You said you want to die on Mars. You said you want to go there and colonize. Can I have your money when you're gone? Maybe not even all of it. I don't need all of it. A couple million would be nice. I just want enough to buy my own island, set up a really nice satellite communications thing so I could still bring you my podcast and still maybe listening to a few radio programs I like. And, I don't ask much, a couple million. I mean, got $185 billion. That's a lot. Now, I say this a lot. Don't get me wrong. When somebody's worth $185 billion, they're not actually sitting on top of $185 billion. That's a misconception that a lot of news outlets and we're seeing a lot of rise against super rich people. They're hoarding all the wealth. What that means is that he has a net worth of $185 billion. That means that a lot of his money, the lion's share of his money, most of his money, is pumped into businesses, deals, SpaceX, which you know darn well that he's getting some funding. The guy's on a roll in the space program. I mean, let's face it. He's like 10 steps ahead of everybody else. This guy's launching rockets that are designed to go to Mars with people in them. He's already testing this stuff out. While everybody else is talking about it and theorizing about it, he's launching this stuff down in Texas. So he's got some game going on. He's got Tesla. Tesla, it's kind of funny. I work in Ann Arbor. I see Teslas all over the place in Ann Arbor. And I'm not one that goes around saying, all the cars have to be electric. I'm not sure I'm into electric cars. Tell you the truth, I think they can be as environmentally damaging as gas-powered cars. But he's also making greater and greater and greater strides to make these vehicles less damaging, to make these vehicles more efficient, to increase their mileage. And honestly, I've driven an electric vehicle, and it was a General Motors. It was a Chevy Bolt. Not a Volt, but a Bolt with a B. And that thing was incredibly quick, incredibly nimble. I was highly impressed. So, I wouldn't be afraid to drive an electric car if the price came down and they can be afforded. And as time goes on, I'm sure they will be. They will have their deficiencies. They will have their issues, just like any other machine on the planet. But, he's making a lot of headway with this company. Not to mention the fact that he has designed one of the coolest flamethrowers on the planet. I mean, come on, this guy designed a flamethrower. I think it's got a lot with him to do, with him going to be living on Mars. He doesn't know what to expect on Mars. So, having a good flame, come on, you've seen Aliens, right? I mean, having a good flamethrower can be a benefit if you're on a different planet. So, keep going, Elon. That's cool. A Harvard astronomer argues that aliens visited us in 2017. This is Futurism.com. Later this month, now, Jeff from In the Crease and Lost Wanderer, pay attention to this one, buddy. Later this month, Harvard astronomy researcher Avi Loeb, I think I'm pronouncing that right, will publish a book with a provocative title, Extraterrestrial, The First Sign of Intelligent Life Beyond Earth. In the book, Loeb doubles down on his controversial theory that Oumuamua, which was an interstellar object spotted by an astronomer in 2017, may be an alien probe that was sent by an advanced extraterrestrial civilization. According to the statement by Loeb's publisher, HMH Books, received by the Boston Globe, Loeb showed it was not an asteroid. It was moving too fast along a straight orbit and left no trail of gas or debris in its wake. To Loeb, it's compelling evidence that an advanced alien civilization came by for a visit. It's a striking theory, but one that puts him at odds with the vast majority of SETI researchers who hold that we have not yet found compelling proof of life beyond the Earth. To be fair, before 2017, we had also never found anything like Oumuamua. I hope I'm saying that right. What is that, Hawaiian? Anyways, it's the first interstellar object to have ever been directly observed, which has made it the subject of an extensive speculation since it was first spotted by astronomers at the Halakala Observatory in Hawaii. Well, that answers that question. The cigar-shaped object entered the solar system tumbling at a highly unusual orbit and at breakneck pace, seemingly defying the gravitational pull of the sun. That finding left astronomers frazzled. Was it a comet or an asteroid? And why was it emitting gas? Loeb has been one of the most prominent advocates of the theory that the object was an alien probe. In 2018, Loeb and postdoctoral researcher Shmuel Bailey published an article in the Journal of the Astrophysical Journal Letters in which the pair first examined the possibility. In the article, Loeb and Bailey argued that one possibility that Oumuamua is a light sail floating in interstellar space as debris from advanced technological equipment, or that it's a fully operational probe sent intentionally to Earth by vicinity by an alien civilization. Now, stop and think about that for a minute. Impossible? Not really. Do we or do we not have a couple of probes of our own from this planet that are now out of our own immediate solar system? They're out into, places that have never been explored before, beyond what we've ever sent anything. What if a few hundred years ago somebody did the same thing on a different planet and all of a sudden that's flying by Earth, sending back little signals to them? There's a probability, there's a possibility. And I've said this before on this show time after time, possibility versus probability. The probability of that, there's some probability involved. Might not be huge, but there's some validity to their argument. And of course, there's always the possibility. So yeah, I would be interested in reading this book. I'm going to keep tabs on that one. Speaking of, the Earth, apparently the Earth is sped up. You feel a little more gravitational pull? You feel a little heavier? Might not have been all that holiday meal. Could be that the Earth is spinning quicker than what it was. Now, what is this according to? This is Jerusalem Post, Health and Science. Indeed, the Earth has been spinning abnormally quick lately. Reporting the Telegraph, the planet is now completing its rotation in 1.4602 milliseconds less than the usual 86,400 seconds. So yeah, we've sped up 1.4602 milliseconds. Oh my gosh, put your seatbelts on. We're going for a ride, kids. The speed of the Earth's rotation varies constantly because of the complex motion of its molten core, oceans, and the atmosphere, as well as the effect of celestial bodies such as the moon. So yeah, we're in July 19th, 2020 was recorded as the shortest day since records began in the 1960s after highly accurate atomic clocks were developed and compared the length of standard day to fixed stars in the sky. We are going a half a millisecond faster than what we've usually gone. So there you have it. We're just spinning like a top around here. Now, I promised you I'd give you this content, and this is the content I live for. You ever hear of a platypus? Of course you have. You're not stupid people. You listen to my show. According to ScienceAlert.com, the first complete map of a platypus genome has been released, and it's every bit as strange as you'd expect from a creature with 10 sex chromosomes, a pair of venomous spurs, and a coat of fluorescent fur, and skin that sweats milk. The duck-billed platypus is truly one of the oddest creatures on the earth, and we all know that. It's very rare. Of course, it lives in Australia, and in Australia, all the animals want to kill you. That's just a fact. Just accept that. You don't even have to look at science books for that one, okay? It's a freebie from me. Along with the spiky echidna, these two Australian mammals belong to a highly specialized group of mammals known as monotremes, which both lay eggs but also nurse their young with milk. Now, we are talking about the duck-billed platypus. And it just reading this article is just kind of strange. Let's actually dive into this a little bit. As different as the platypus might seem at first, it's those very differences that reveal our similarities and shared ancestries with Earth's other vertebrates. Scientists think its genome could tell us secrets about our own evolution and how our distant mammalian ancestors went from laying eggs to giving birth. The complete genome has provided us with the answers to how a few of the platypus's bizarre features emerged, explains evolutionary biologist Guiji Zhang from University of Copenhagen. At the same time, decoding the genome for a platypus is important for improving our understanding of how other mammals evolved, including us humans. In previous years, a female platypus had some of its genome sequenced without any Y chromosome sequenced. Of course, a lot of the information was missing. Using the male platypus, researchers have now created a physical map with highly accurate platypus genome. Today, living mammals are split into three groups, of course, including monotremes, marsupials, and eutherians, or placentals. We humans belong to the placental group. Of course, that's how humans birth other humans. Together, the latter two make up a subclass known as therian mammals. Therian mammals all give birth to live young, but monotremes are simply too different to be lumped in with that group as well. It's still unclear when all three of these distinct groups first began to diverge from one another. Some think the monotremes split off first, with marsupials and eutherians following suit. Others think all three groups diverged at roughly the same time. So they basically mapped the genomes of these platypus. And it is just as weird as you can possibly think. Especially, the platypus is a weird in-between of a lot of things. And, it sweats milk from its glands, basically. It says the full genome has also revealed the loss of 4 genes associated with tooth development, which probably disappeared roughly 120 million years ago. To eat, the platypus now uses a pair of horn-like plates to grind up its food. The poisonous spurs on its hind legs can possibly be explained by the creature's defense genes, which are associated with the immune system in other mammals, and appears to give rise to unique proteins in their venom. Echidnas, which also had their full genome sequence, appear to have lost this key venom gene. So yeah, you want to know what's going out there? You want to know what the big news is? We've had genome maps released of platypus, and they're strange. It's just, these things are the most bizarre animals in the world. Study them. And I think in mapping different genomes, mapping different things like that, they're going to be able to study more, look at how everything in this world works. It's an interesting time to be alive. It really is. Now, that being said, and I'll leave you with one of these stories. Let's look at tech a little bit. I've known about this. I think Cyber Wars, which is on Monday nights, I think they've addressed this a little bit. But I want to remind you again. According to USA Today, hidden map on your phone shows everywhere you've been and the photos you took while you were there. Google Maps makes navigating unfamiliar cities frustration-free and straightforward, and it does. It has an innovative feature that you're probably not taking full advantage of, Street View. Sure, it's great for looking at your childhood home, but you can use it for things like creating your own stories and even going indoors. Street View can be especially handy when you're looking at real estate. The timeline feature shows you what a home or a commercial building looked like last month or many years ago. Now for the bad news. Big tech loves to track us like cattle. And they have geolocation capabilities built into their respective websites and apps. If you use an iPhone or you can actually explore these things. I know from using a Samsung, and I've been all over these settings, that they do this. Did you know that Google has been tracking and recording your every move, including your photos' location data? If you use Google Photos, prepare to be shocked when you see all the data the company has collected about you. Unless you specifically turned off location tracking for pictures, every photo you snap will have the location where it was taken stored within its data. And you know what? I suspect that even if you have it turned off, it's still going to track that. Now, if you open up your Google app and in the bottom bar, tap search, and under the places, tap view all. When open, the places section will show you a group of all the photos taken in a specific place. If you tap on a folder, it will bring up a map with location dots to show the precise location where you took that photo. Now, this could be good, this could be bad. I mean, if you're a tourist and you like the nostalgic of, hey, you know, I took this photo. Where was this taken? Well, there you go. Now, if you're logged into your Google account, open up Maps. Click on the hamburger menu in the top left corner. And when the full side menu is open, click on Your Timeline. This will bring up a complete map of where you have been and the number of places that you have checked into. Data of places you visited can also be recalled by opening the side menu, clicking on Your Places, and then clicking Visited. As Google explains on the website, location history saves where you go with your devices, even when you aren't using a specific Google service. Now, what they don't tell you is they will also use third-party information to do the exact same thing. So even if you do turn off your location history, they're still collecting it. Sorry to, wake you up with this, but be advised. Be advised. If you don't want anybody or anything knowing where you go in a certain day, leave your phone at home. Or, hear me out, turn it off, put it in a Faraday bag, and make sure that it doesn't get turned on or exposed anytime you're someplace that you just really don't want anybody to know. Maybe you have a hidey hole where you have end of the world stuff located. Things like that. So the problem I have with some of this information gleaning is it may seem innocent enough. It may seem okay enough. But as much as these people don't want to tell you, hackers can get anything they want. Hackers can breach Google. Hackers can breach Google Maps. Maybe somebody's out to do something nefarious. Maybe there's facets, and let me put my tinfoil hat on. Maybe there's facets of appointed government people who really aren't on the up and up, and that can use this location tracking to accuse you of something that maybe you haven't done. Be careful with your technology. My personal advice is either keep your phone in a Faraday bag, keep it turned off, make it where it's almost impossible to track where you go 99% of the time. Because let's face it, I mean, even if you're completely on the up and up, even if you don't do anything wrong, it's none of their business. The problem is you've made it their business because every time you click that little thing that says, yes, I agree to terms and conditions. I read them all. I agree with them. No, you haven't. Don't even tell me you haven't. You haven't done it. And if you have, well, you're either a lawyer or a bigger nerd than I am. Nerd alert. So there you have it. Careful with your technology. Another interesting note before I leave you. Don't want to scare you. Don't want to freak you out. The CDC says severe allergic reactions to COVID vaccine runs 10 times more than the flu shot. But they still claim it's rare. This is according to CNBC.com. So the COVID-19 vaccine appears to cause severe allergic reactions at a significantly higher rate than other vaccines among the first wave of Americans to receive the life-saving immunizations, the U.S. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention said Wednesday. Though still rare, the CDC said there were 21 cases of anaphylaxis, a severe and life-threatening allergic reaction that occurs rarely after vaccination, out of the nearly 1.9 million people who received their first shots of Pfizer COVID-19 vaccine in the mid to late December, according to a study published in the CDC's Morbidity and Mortality Weekly Report on Wednesday. That would mean roughly 11 people out of every million vaccinated would likely experience anaphylaxis, according to CDC data, roughly 10 times higher than the flu vaccine. So there you have it. Now, I'm up in the air about the vaccine. Okay. Let me just back up a little bit. I am not anti-vax, okay? Not in any way, shape, or form. And I know there's people who would disagree with me. There's people out here that are doctors. Oh, I took it. I ran right out there and got it. That's fine. That's fine. That's your prerogative. I'm not going to argue with you. It's a personal choice. Will I get the vaccine? Probably, maybe, eventually. I'm going to let the people who actually need it go first. People over 60 years old, people who are in ill health to begin with, people who haven't spent their whole lives staying in shape, people with underlying conditions like heart disease, diabetes, things like that, cut in front of me. God bless you. Personally, I want to take 6, 7, 8 months to see what happens a few months after you take this vaccine. It's a 2-shot process. And the research was rushed, which you know as well as I do, when you rush something, you leave some things out, things aren't perfect. You take shortcuts. So yeah, I may just wait a few months, make sure that things are cool, make sure things are where they're supposed to be before I roll up my shirt sleeve and take this. So there you have it. That's my show, folks. I am going to keep I Do This for Free going. I am going to keep spewing this stuff out and doing what I do best. God bless you. God bless America. Stay tuned. I don't know what's coming up. We're rescheduling things. We're redoing Fridays. I know it's going back and forth. We'll see what happens. I don't think there's a juxt after my show now. I'm not sure. But nonetheless, have fun. Enjoy life. We'll talk again soon.
It doesn't have to be like this.